a narrative that was tragically cut short yet continues to influence the music industry. Temptation, a name that will forever echo in the annals of music and controversy alike. June 18, 2018, a day that would mark the end of a young prodigy's life. On this fateful day, the life of the controversial yet undeniably talented rapper XXXTentacion was prematurely snuffed out. In the bright light of a Florida day, a motorcycle shop became the unexpected stage for a tragic end. The young artist, known as much for his meteoric rise to fame as for the allegations of domestic violence trailing behind him, was targeted for his wealth, $50,000, a sum that to some justified the unthinkable. The men who sought this fortune had no regard for the life they were about to extinguish. The crime was swift and brutal. XXXTentacion was shot, left lifeless in a senseless act of violence. The culprits, 3 men, fled the scene, leaving behind a world in shock and a music industry in bereavement. But their freedom was short-lived. As the wheels of justice began to turn in the courtroom, the evidence was undeniable. The 3 men were found guilty of first-degree murder and armed robbery. Their sentence? Life in prison with no chance for parole. A heavy sentence for a heinous crime. The courtroom echoed with the emotional statements from the rapper's manager. While the chilling details of the crime, captured on surveillance video, painted a grim tableau of the final moments of a life cut short, a life abruptly ended, a legacy left in the balance. The story of XXXTentacion is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the consequences of avarice and violence. The world reeled in shock. The music industry mourned, and fans were left grappling with the loss of a star who had shone brightly, albeit briefly. XXXTentacion's untimely death sent ripples through the music industry and far beyond. The public was left to grapple with a complex legacy, that of a young talent whose life was cut short, but whose influence was deeply felt. His fans, a diverse group spanning continents and cultures, were united in their grief. They mourned the loss of a voice that had become a beacon, a symbol of rebellion and authenticity in a world often devoid of both. The music industry, too, was left in a state of shock. Despite the controversy that surrounded him, XXXTentacion had managed to carve out a unique place for himself in the world of music. His raw and uncompromising artistic vision had challenged norms and pushed boundaries. The general public was equally affected. The story of his life and death, filled with triumphs and tragedies, was a stark reminder of the fragility of life. His death became a symbol of the violence that plagues our society, sparking discussions on issues from gun control to mental health. Gone but not forgotten, XXXTentacion's influence was far from over. Death can end a life, but not a legacy. What happened next was a testament to this. Following XXXTentacion's tragic demise, his music didn't just survive, it thrived. His posthumous album skyrocketed to the top, seizing the #1 spot on the U.S. charts. This was a powerful testament to his enduring influence, a stark reminder of the talent lost. Yet his legacy is not without its controversies. The rapid rise to fame, the serious allegations of domestic violence. These are parts of his story that continue to spark debates, discussions, and disagreements. It's a complex legacy, one that combines raw talent with troubling personal issues. It's a legacy that continues to resonate, to stir emotions, and to provoke thoughts. This is the legacy of XXXTentacion, a young man with a life that ended too soon, but a musical legacy that continues to echo in our ears. His story is a haunting melody of what was, what is, and what might have been. XXXTentacion, a life that ended too soon. A legacy that continues to resonate. The question remains, what might have been? 2020. The 26-year-old's girlfriend and another man were wounded in the attack. The jury convicted Charles Liggins, 32, Kenneth Robertson, 30, Christopher Thomas, 24, Marcus Smart, 25, to Carlos Offord, 32, and Ralph Turpin, 34, of murder in the aid of racketeering and conspiracy to commit murder. Liggins, Robertson, Thomas, Smart, and Offerder were also convicted of using a firearm in Weekly's murder. The 6 individuals identified as Charles Liggins, also known as C. Murda, 30, Kenneth Robertson, also known as Kenny and Kenny Mack, 28, to Carlos Offord, also known as Losas. Christopher Thomas, also known as C-Thang, 22, Marcus Smart, also known as Moob, 22, and Ralph Turpin, also known as Tall and Teasy, 33, were charged in 2021 and 2023 with committing murder in aid of racketeering and conspiracy to commit murder in aid of racketeering. Some alleged members also faced firearm charges, according to prosecutors. Carlton Weekly, who performed under the name FBG Duck, was shot dead, and 2 others were wounded on August 4, 2020, near the Magnificent Mile when 4 people got out of their cars and opened fire on the sidewalk. Weekly was shopping for his son's birthday when he was killed, his mother said. A 36-year-old man and a 26-year-old woman who were sitting in a parked vehicle were also wounded in the shooting. Prosecutors said that Weekly was a member of the STL and EBT or Tookaville faction of the Gangster Disciples, which it said had feuded with O-Block, a faction of the Black Disciples. According to a 45-page document unsealed in court in January 2022, investigators towed a car used in the shooting one day after it happened, later searched it and found evidence that implicated Liggins. The document also points to so-called diss tracks, the songs posted online in which street gang members disrespect rivals, fueling violence on the streets. Around the time of Weekly's murder, surveillance footage allegedly showed Liggins, Smart, and others running down a stairwell at Parkway Gardens at 63rd and Martin Luther King Drive, according to the affidavit. It said Smart and another person got into a Ford Fusion owned by Offer. The FBI believed Liggins got into a Chrysler 300 with 2 others. From there, investigators were able to trace the vehicle's path from Parkway Gardens to the scene of the murder using video surveillance and police pod cameras. Around the time Weekly got out of the car on Oak Street, the feds say the Fusion and Chrysler were seen traveling in the same direction in the 6,200 block of South Wentworth. Just 5 seconds apart, the vehicles were spotted on camera in at least 7 additional locations. The document then lays out what happened at 4:26 p.m. in the first block of East Oak Street. The Fusion and Chrysler stopped just in front of the dark-colored sedan that had been driven by Weekly's girlfriend. 2 people jumped out of the passenger side of the Fusion and opened fire at Weekly, who ducked with another person behind his girlfriend's car. 2 people then also got out of the passenger side of the Chrysler. One, the front passenger, opened fire on Weekly's girlfriend, while the other fired at Weekly. The shooters then got back into the Fusion and Chrysler and fled. It said Weekly's girlfriend was shot twice in the left wrist. The person who ducked behind the car with Weekly was shot 3 times and was left in critical condition, according to the feds. Weekly died shortly after the shooting, the feds say, but it's unclear how many times. The story of Toronto rapper Houdini, his shocking murder, has captivated fans and the music industry alike. In a series of interviews conducted shortly before his death, Houdini shared previously undisclosed details about his personal life, the music industry, and the violence that plagued his hometown. These revelations shed light on the realities of life for young artists in the rap industry and the dangers they face both on and off the stage. The story of Houdini is a cautionary tale that highlights the importance of addressing the root causes of violence and the need to create a safer environment for all those involved in the music industry. Houdini, whose real name was DeMargio Jenkins, was a talented Canadian rapper who emerged as a rising star in the Toronto music scene. Born on January 25, 1999, Houdini began his musical journey at the age which was young, honing his skills and developing his unique style. Known for his raw and authentic lyrics, Houdini's music reflected his personal experiences growing up in the tough neighborhoods of Toronto. With his magnetic stage presence and captivating performances, he quickly gained a devoted fan base and caught in the attention of industry's insiders. Tragically, Houdini's promising career was cut short when he was fatally shot on May 26, 2020, leaving behind a legacy of impactful music and a void in the hip-hop community. The murder of rapper Houdini was also a shocking and tragic incident that sent shockwaves through the music industry and beyond. On May 26, 2020, Houdini was walking through a busy intersection in downtown Toronto when he was approached by a group of individuals who opened fire. Houdini was hit several times and rushed to a nearby hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries and passed away shortly after. The incident was caught on surveillance footage, which helped the police to identify and arrest several suspects in the weeks and months that followed. While the investigation into Houdini's murder is ongoing, his death has left a lasting impact on the hip-hop community and serves as a stark reminder of his violence and dangers that can accompany life in the public eye. Houdini's shocking revelations have shed light on the harrowing circumstances surrounding his murder. Firstly, he disclosed the constant threat of violence he faced, having been a target of several shootings and narrowly escaping death on multiple occasions. This exposed dangerous reality of living in Toronto's tough neighborhoods where gang violence and crimes were prevalent. Moreover, Houdini spoke candidly about the dark underbelly of the music industry, highlighting the cutthroat nature of competition and the inherent risks that came with success. These details unveil the intense pressure and rivalries within the industry where jealousy and greed were often led to violent confrontations. Houdini's revelations serve as a wake-up call to the harsh realities faced by artists and individuals navigating the world of fame in urban environments. Following the shocking death of rapper Houdini, fans and members of the community were devastated by the loss. Houdini was a rising star in the Toronto music scene, known for his talent and charisma. His fans praised him for his honesty, his honest lyrics, which often addressed the struggles of life in the inner city. In the wake of his death, fans took to social media to express their grief and pay tribute to the young artist. Many shared memories of his music and performances, while others expressed anger and frustration at the senseless violence that took his life. Community members also rallied around Houdini's family, offering condolences and support during his difficult time. The loss of Houdini was felt deeply by many, and his legacy as a talented artist and a beloved member of the community will not be forgotten. Following the shooting death of rapper Houdini, an investigation was launched by Toronto police. Beside Corey were wearing ski masks and gloves. They had a police scanner, too, that they would plan on using for the getaway. When the group arrived at the house, Corey, who was the oldest but still only 19, warned his friends not to shoot anyone. The three young robbers then hopped out. They got into the back garden of Pop's Airbnb. From there, they went up the balcony stairs to the master bedroom sliding door. They found it unlocked and went straight in. A girl Pop had over was the only one in the room. While Pop was in the shower, one of the attackers pressed a gun to her head, asking if she wanted to die. Pop by now had opened the bathroom door, and the men told him to hand over his watch. Pop did this before one of the robbers sarcastically said thank you. This comment made Pop charge at the man before he was pistol whipped. Slappa Knapp, who was 15, then shot him once in the chest. The robbers then kicked him on the floor before Pop got up and tried to run. Sadly, Slappa Knapp shot him 2 more times in the back, killing him, taking Pop's life, him at just 20 years old. They then fled, taking Pop's Rolex, which they sold for only $2,000. There's something so deeply sad about Pop making it out of poverty, only to be killed for a watch. One of the Hoover's big rappers is a dude named Treyway. His younger brother is Keandra Rogers, who was one of the robbers. And Treyway has actually dissed Pop in songs and talked about the murder in interviews. Niggas already show niggas ran up in his house with handguns trying to do niggas, but I'm ducking with Crash. Hey, that Instagram post just flipped your man. But look, man, I wanted to ask you about the Pop Smoke, man. And I know, saying the homies was from where you from, you know what I'm saying? You're set. Like, how do y'all deal with that? You feel me? Like, what was the rumors going around about that? Well, the allegations is my little brother in jail for supposedly killing Pop Smokeovers. My boy innocent, though. Freeman foe on the set. So your little brother is in jail for killing Pop Smoke. Damn. But other Hoovers have dissed Pop, too, so it seems the gang doesn't care about the negative attention it's brought. After the dissing, Pop's close friend Dusty Locane linked with the Hoovers' ops in L.A. There's also a video of him saying Snover K, an insulting name for the Hoovers. The COVID lockdown really messed up the murder investigation. LAPD were struggling, but suddenly they got a breakthrough while locked up on unrelated charges. Slap a Nap talked to a prisoner in a cell that had recording devices. In the conversation, he explained in detail the whole murder and admitted to being the gunman. This meant LAPD could arrest the other three involved, one of which decided to record himself being arrested.